Gearbox just released a bunch of new info for Borderlands 4 at their PAX East Q&A panel today, including dedicated drops, raid bosses, pearls, plus a bunch of different stuff on like skill trees, heaps of good stuff. Starting with the best, at least in my opinion, the most exciting news, is dedicated drops at launch. They actually listened. Dedicated drops on day one. Every boss, every mini boss, every vault takedown challenge thing has its own dedicated loot and is respawnable without having to actually log out to the menu and back in again, which is huge. They also confirmed raid bosses and invincibles will be in the game. They didn't confirm if it's at launch or not, but that's already beating Borderlands 3's timeline because that took like at least a year, maybe 2 years before we got that in Borderlands 3. So that's also huge news. Randy also teased pearls by listing out the rarities, going like white, blue, I went the wrong way, white, green, blue, purple, legendary, and then he was like put, and then stops in classic Randy fashion. It's potentially just a troll, just because he feels like mucking around, or it could be a tease for pearls post-launch. Who knows? Hopefully, I feel like they would, otherwise they probably wouldn't address it as often as they are. But yeah, that's another thing to look out for. We also got a bunch of stuff on the characters. Mostly, again, the Siren. They just love giving us info on the Siren Vex. They showed off her third skill tree, a little bit of extra gameplay, and also a bunch of info. It is called Dead Ringer. So she has Incarnate, Face Familiar, and Dead Ringer now. We did get a little clip of Dead Ringer in the previous trailer, but we didn't know what it was. It's basically the little hologram of Vex on the field. It's called a Reaper or a Spectre. The Reaper version takes the heat off you. Basically, all the other enemies will be aggroed onto them, where the Spectre version deals more damage, but I assume it'll die faster from what they were implying. And you can also change their elements. A lot of her skill tree is based around elements, and they also mentioned Lifesteal is one of her abilities. Not sure if that's across all of her action skills, that's the word, or if it's a particular build that you can spec to that she will have Lifesteal included in that, which is pretty sweet because that's a pretty common ability across all Borderlands games. Oh yeah, they also did mention that at least one of her class mods will let you pass your gear onto your Spectres, like Zane's clones, so you can make them do insane damage, insane build potential with that as well. Amon, we didn't get any new gameplay for him, but they did confirm all of his weapon types. We've seen his dual axes, we've seen a few clips of his hammer, we saw his shield in a cutscene, but it's not really explained that that is an actual weapon you can use. They did confirm you can use the shield. We also saw a whip in one clip, but it's not really clear who it is at all. It is Amon's, one of his abilities. And then also not shown, but he can also have a spear. So he has just basically every weapon under the sun. As for Rafa and Harlow, no big new gameplay or info from them. Rafa's only extra thing was he's a more movement speed and agility character, which we could kind of see from the original clips as well. Probably the only semi-negative news of the event was they confirmed there is no minimap coming. They're up to it post-launch feedback, but their reason for not having it at launch is it's a much bigger map with multiple levels, and it makes the single-dimensional minimap top-down view really confusing and hard to follow. They still have the full map accessible one click away, and then Echo 4 is a lot more helpful than previous Echo versions at helping you navigate the world. And they're still up to it post-launch, but they've said basically try out the game. We don't think you'll need it, and we think it's more confusing to have that kind of system than the Compass. As for much more exciting news, we do have more gun manufacturers confirmed to be included in the new weapon part system, which is huge. We got Atlas returning for their tracking darts, which is sick. We got COV with their heat weapons, which personally, but sure, I'll have it. Hyperion is returning like we saw in the previous trailer for their shield parts, and they confirmed that Dahl is not returning in this game for weapons or weapon parts. They did confirm that Echo 4 is Dahl, so Dahl exists, but they're just not on this planet for weapons or weapon parts, which, to be fair, Dahl's whole thing is just accuracy, right? So I guess it's not that big of an exciting part to include in the system, so maybe that was part of it. They also confirmed no crafting in the game, which the previous systems weren't great or loved by the community, so that's a good thing. Once you get the legendary that has dropped for you, that is the weapon. You can't change it. If you want the perfect legendary with the perfect damage numbers, the perfect element, the perfect 4 different manufacturing parts, you're gonna have to farm for it. It's gonna be rare and it's gonna be insane when it drops for you. Also confirmed with the part system, every weapon can be TD or chucked if you can get the correct TD or part. Just any weapon in the game, any legendary that you want. If you farm up the correct TD or part, can be chucked. You can ricochet any type of bullet with the correct Jacobs part. So you could have Atlas tracking darts with ricocheting Jacobs parts, like just ridiculous. You could ricochet, he confirmed, he literally said this as an example. You can ricochet Torg, sticky, gyro, jets. That's crazy. They also said there's a set bonus system for your endgame enhancements. And the enhancements are the system replacing artifacts in Borderlands 4, if you didn't see the previous week's trailer, but they're specific for your weapons. So to my understanding, if you have 3 of the same brand enhancement, you get an extra bonus. They didn't specify what the bonus was, but they did say it was for endgame. It's an extra component to your endgame builds, which is a cool thing. For co-op news, big news, of course, we did hear that there is crossplay at launch, which is great. Can play with anyone at any level, so they could be level 20, you could be level 1, they could be on hard difficulty, you could be on easy difficulty, and the game will scale for you. And then we also have separate loot confirmed, and the new info is instant fast travel to friends. Randy repeated himself saying there is no load times multiple times, so you'll just instantly be with your friends if you click to fast travel to them, which is really cool. Don't know how that works on console, but that sounds great. We also have a Guardian rank equivalent or bar equivalent returning in Borderlands 4. It's not going to be the same system. They didn't show it off or anything, but they did confirm it will be in there. But they said there will be more decisions to make rather than just you eventually max out every ability like you had in Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3. You specialize what abilities you actually want and like difficult decisions to be made, that kind of stuff. So keep a lookout for that when they actually announce it, or maybe they don't show it until launch. But it will be in the game and it will be different, but an equivalent system. So I'm interested to see what they'll do with it, because it does get kind of crazy in Borderlands 3 and 2 when you just fully max it out. It basically just makes your character 20% stronger at every aspect of the game. So we'll see how they balance that. They also said Borderlands 4 has double the budget that they had for Borderlands 3, which is wild. Gives me a lot more confidence in the quality of the game that we can expect, and also the post-launch content we can look forward to. If you didn't see last week's video, Epic Games accidentally done goofed and basically spoiled that they're going to have story DLC in Borderlands 4 as well as Vault Hunter DLC, which is great news because both of those sound great to me. But also the double the budget, Borderlands 3 had like 2 years worth of post-launch content, and if we're doubling the budget, the quality and or the amount of that increase sounds fantastic, at least to me. They also said they don't know the price of the game yet, they just blatantly don't know, but it's up to their publisher company, which 2K / whoever the new company is that partly own them now. But there's going to be different versions, because they did confirm that there is going to be at least a collector's edition of the game, so they usually have like, the standard, maybe a deluxe, and then a collector's edition, so that's also back. But yeah, all great news, honestly, across the board from PAX East. I actually feel like they listened to the community and answered all the big questions. They weren't hiding from anything, which is great. But that is all the news from PAX East. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe if you guys want to like. Other than that, have a fantastic day. Adios.